Lanny Hayes is joining me. Hey, Lanny. Hi, good morning.
How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm really good. Don't call me sir, though. It'll make me sound like I'm old or have gray hair or no hair or something like that. Okay,
your
so
secret's safe with me.
great. So I'm driving to work today, and I'm thinking, I love all the cool things in my life, but life gets a little overwhelming, and there's just a lot of things to do. And when I think about my money, I spend it in so many ways, and I want to be sure I'm spending it efficiently. So you, and I know your company, I know a lot of history in your company. You're the vice president of BillAdvisor.com. And I want you to, and you can probably tell your story so much better than me. And I haven't signed up. I'm signing up tonight. It's on my list because I know you guys and what you do. Talk a little bit about what BillAdvisor does.
Absolutely, Steve. Well, BillAdvisor is an innovative, risk-free service that's really dedicated to saving everyone money on their monthly recurring bills. And we say everyone, we mean everyone. The reality, Steve, is that really most everyone that we've talked to, including your listeners, are paying too much for almost everything they pay for monthly. And we specialize in those subscription services like TV, internet, cell phone, auto insurance, pretty much anything you pay for on a monthly basis. And there's just no need to overpay for that sort of thing. So at BillAdvisor, what we do is we take those services and your bills and we shop for the best deals for you. It may be with another provider. It may be us negotiating with your current provider to get you the absolute rock bottom deal. But there's no reason to overspend, and we help consumers stop doing that.
So I walked into an AT&T store recently, and I'd had a phone conversation. Someone told me I was getting the absolute best deal. I go in, I sit down with someone, and after a confusing conversation, I knocked like $100 a month off my cell phone bill. But I literally walked out of there thinking, I'm still not sure what we talked about. I mean, I was kind of I'm assuming that's not unique.
No, that's not unique at all, Steve. That's extremely common, and that's why somebody like us is very beneficial in the marketplace. You know, kind of the history of our company, and as we got into the BillAdvisor portion of what we do, you know, all of us thought we were kind of like you. You know, we would be the guy who would walk into the AT&T store and say, hey, my bill's a little too high. And they cut off $10. Or you do this, and they cut off $25. You make this phone call. But what we've discovered working with BillAdvisor is, you know, there's a right person to talk to. There's a right time to call. There's a right thing to say. And by pouring through thousands and thousands of customer bills, we've learned over time what the right thing to do and what the right thing to say is. You know, you probably got a great deal. Look, $100 per month back in your pocket, that's pretty good stuff. It could have been $150. $100 maybe was it, but I doubt it. There's almost always more savings there.
And you guys have done this. You've got like 4,000 clients you're doing this for all the time, right?
Absolutely. Our current client base is up over 4,000. We are adding hundreds every week. We found really an insatiable demand in the marketplace, and we're starting to branch nationwide for people who just want to save money and understand that the stuff that they're paying for, there's just no need to pay that much, whether it's rate creep over time or they signed up under some promotional discounts and those have expired and, well, I don't want to deal with the trouble of another provider or whatever it may be. People just pay too much and there's no need for it, and that's where BillAdvisor comes in and saves people money.
So when I've looked at home and car insurance, my impression is that many of us just pay those automatically, right? And we assume it's competitive and, golly, I saw my insurance company on the NCAA playoffs or whatever. But it's very, very inefficient in that if an insurance company wants to reduce their exposure to Texas, they just raise rates, and smart people shop and move on, and stupid people stay and pay too much.
That's exactly right. And look, I'm the first one to admit, for the longest time, I was one of the stupid guys. I had a big name national provider for both my auto and my home insurance. Hey, I've got an auto home discount. Everything must be great. They're a big name. You're right. I see them advertising on the NCAA playoffs. Funny you mentioned that. Then I started the shopping process and realized that I was giving this company an extra $1,000, $2,000 a year. Like, why do that? And since then I've moved, and I still have a major nationwide carrier for my insurance. There's no reason not to have that. But you should have the best rates for the same coverage. And there's, again, no need to overpay.
The cell phone bill, to me, is confusing. Am I alone at that? Surely it's got to be confusing to most people.
No, cell phone bill, really short of homeowners insurance, which is just a very long policy and there's a lot to it. The cell phone bills are the most confusing between, are you on an individual plan, a family plan, how many phones do you have, what's the data? And there's so many trigger points when you get into discussing your bill. You talked about walking into your AT&T store. There's a lot of levers to pull there. There's how much data do you have? How much are you being charged per phone per month? Not the device itself, but the charge for having it if you're on a individual plan or if you're on a family plan. There's a lot going on in that bill.
Well, and I will tell you that when my kids grew up, they all moved on financially, except I've kept their cell phones. So I do have 5 phones, which makes it even more confusing because one kid streams, 2 kids don't. I mean, it's like my head was spinning, and I think you're probably right. There's probably more money to save. In the energy world, I once had what I thought was competitive, and at the end of 12 months, when I wasn't paying attention, they bumped it 40%.
That's where they make their money, Steve.
So they think that some people don't read their energy bill every month? You think that's what they're thinking?
I think they think that, and I think they're 98% correct.
I think they are too. It's like the old days. When AT&T had everything many years ago, and then you had MCI, and you had Sprint, you had advertisement with the pin dropping. But AT&T had to make billions of dollars just because people didn't have the momentum to move. I would imagine with HL&P, whatever they're called today, Reliant, I've got to think there's a lot of people that might use Reliant and get really competitive rates. There are probably some people that don't get competitive rates, but if you don't shop once in a while, you never really know, do you?
No, you don't. And that's the advantage of not just the shopping process, but what BillAdvisor can provide. By being a company that goes through thousands and thousands of bills, we get a really good idea of what the good rates are and what the good rates aren't. And, there's a name recognition factor out there, and you don't have to have a non-name brand. In fact, we deal with all the major national providers on all of your monthly services. So when you talk about somebody like Reliant, to use as an example, I have a family member who, as we've been working on this project for a while, I would tell them, hey, let me shop on your energy services. I know I can save you money. Well, I've had Reliant. I've had them for 25 years. I trust them. Like, why are you overpaying? It's the exact same service. There's no difference to you. Let me get my hands on your bill and work with you. And it took a while to get past that, to generate that momentum that you talked about. But we're starting to discover more and more, once someone gets a little taste of that momentum, it goes forward so quickly because you understand just how much money you're leaving on the table. And a service like BillAdvisor that has that kind of experience and knows what's a good deal and what isn't, that's where we feel like we provide something in the market that really people can use.
When somebody I want to talk about how often you're successful and what you charge. So how often, if somebody comes to you, are you able to save them money?
So we're successful about 80% of the time overall, and that varies a little bit by product. For example, if you call in and you are out of your contract on energy, as we've just discussed, 100% of the time. You are always overpaying, and there's just no need to do that. But overall, about 80% of the time, our average customer is going to save about $300 per year per bill that we're successful with. So we have customers who call in, they want to shop one thing, we shop that, and then they call back a week later or a day later or a month later and say, hey, I've gotten around to it. Here's all the rest of my bills. And we're able to go through those and know where we can win. And, hey, look, you're paying way too much for your cell phone. You're paying way too much for this. And, we've also discovered that it's kind of people from all walks of life, whether it's the person who really is very financially stable. In fact, that person may be overpaying more than anybody else, or someone who really needs that extra $20 to $25 per month that we can save them. We find savings all across the board, no matter what walk of life you're coming from financially.
And you guys are based in Houston.
We are.
You're already doing it for 4,000 people. Okay. What does it cost? And I know what it costs, so I'll let you explain it. And I'm signing up literally today. By the way, Kelly Maltesta is going to sign up too. So Kelly and I, new folks today. But tell me how you charge when someone goes to BillAdvisor.com and signs up.
No problem. So when you go to BillAdvisor, our service is absolutely risk-free. So when you sign up, there's no charge to you right up front. We're only going to win when you win. So if we're able to take your bills and save you money by negotiating with your current provider, we're going to ask you to share some of that savings with us. So if you call in and we discover you were the lucky guy, you were the guy who won the lottery, you have the best AT&T deal available, we're not going to charge you for our time, effort, and research to do that. And no matter what our expertise says, we're going to make the phone calls and the contacts and do the things necessary to shop for you. But if we save you money for the work, we'd like to ask that you split the savings with us.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do is subscribe, right? I can pay a monthly fee, give you my cell phone data, my home internet, TV, home phone, life insurance, energy, home security, auto home, let you shop for everything. What does that cost?
Okay, so that one's a little bit different. Instead of a pay per drink or every time we're successful, we would ask you to share the savings with us. And by share the savings, by the way, Steve, I mean that we would share your first year savings. If we were to negotiate a longer than 12-month deal for you, we're only going to ask that you share the first 12 months of savings.
Okay.
So back to what you just said, though. On the subscription model, that costs $13 per month, and we'll do it all. So if we save you $1,000 on a bill or $22 a bill, whatever it may be, just $13 a month. And we feel like we generate an ongoing benefit for that. So if you gave us all of your bills right away, you could say, well, hey, I gave you all the 7 things I pay for every month. Why in the world would I continue subscribing? Because we track that information and we follow it. So when you have a certain TV provider, we know when your discounts run out. When you shop your auto insurance, we have our system set so we know, hey, it's renewed every 6 months typically. So when we get to about 5 months, it's time to really start shopping. And we have things set up so if better deals just come along and it makes sense for you to move in the middle of that period, we can handle that too. And that's something that you get in our subscription model. And
Lanny Hayes is my guest, BillAdvisor.com. I've known these guys for over a decade. Super sharp, big presence in Houston. Hey, Lanny, this is really disruptive to
it is.
The cell phone, TV, home phone, auto insurance, because so many of these businesses make all their or a big chunk of their profits off people who aren't really paying attention.
No, that's absolutely correct. And disruptive is absolutely a word for it. But the reality, too, is in addition to being disruptive, is a lot of these companies have, understood that in today's world, when they go out and compete, like there aren't many new cell phone subscribers, right, unless people are just coming of age into their own new accounts. If you have a cell phone, you have a cell phone. So they're all competing for each other's subscribers. That costs money, right? All the marketing that you see out there when the Sprint guy goes on TV with a saw cutting through bills, that stuff costs money. They also have money to save the customers that they have. And we're able to tap into that. And with our experience, we tap into it better than you can as just one person calling on your own by having a large member base. And 4,000, we're growing a lot, and we're looking forward to exponential growth and expect that. But that gives us buying power that you're not going to see from other places. And we're certainly going to do better than just handing stuff off on a one-on-one basis.
So I'm at your website, BillAdvisor.com. I type in my name, phone, email. And then what do? I get you guys copies of my bills?
Absolutely. So you have a couple of options. Perhaps the easiest way for you, if you have a digital copy of your bill or one you can download, just drop that in, give us your name and contact information so we know how to get a hold of you to get the process done, and we'll grab that and go to work. If you don't have a copy of your bill, don't want to take the time to look it up, that's fine too. Generally, people know about what they're paying, so let us know, hey, for my cell phone, I have AT&T, I have 5 phones, I'm paying $250 a month, I have about this much data. If you don't know exactly, it's not the end of the world, we'll get past that part, but we'll be able to look at that and almost immediately know what we have to work with. And even if it's a little bit to work with, we're going to go to work for you and save you some money.
So I have an AT&T bill, and I'm not sure how this all happened, but now I don't get a bill in the mail. I get a notice, I get a text on how much I spent, and then I can log in and look, which is really confusing, and then they change the password.
You and everybody else, Steve.
Yeah, so all these bills are a little bit harder to find. And with auto insurance, I can't tell you exactly what I am paying. I mean, I have an idea, but you know what? I shopped a couple years ago. I got much better rates. So this is really kind of a wake-up call. Now, what happens, let's say that I have Dish TV, and I love Dish TV, let's say. And I really don't want to change it because I know where all the channels are. Can you still go in and see if they have another plan that works for me?
Absolutely. So what we do in that case, and look, that's really one of the most common experiences that we have, especially when you talk about TV and cell phone. People get very used to, like you said, you know where the channels are, you know the guide. On phones, people get attached to their devices, and the trade-in process on those, depending on how you do it, can be clunky. What we've discovered is that really on those two things, people like to keep what they have. So in that case, with you describing as a Dish customer, we would look at your bill and first of all look for anything extraneous that you're paying for that you don't need to pay for. But that's not the big part of what we do. The big part of what we do will be reaching out to Dish and explaining, hey, look, I'm Lanny with BillAdvisor. We have a mutual customer, Steve Drake, and he's asked us to shop for the best deal for him. We found other competitive offers in the space, and we presented those to him, but we want to know what you're willing to do to keep Steve as one of your loyal customers. He's had the service for a decade. He doesn't want to leave, but he looks at DirecTV over here, and they're offering him a better deal. Let's see if we can get some of this loyalty to go both ways. And, and again, there's the right person to call, the right way to say what I just said, the right time to call, and all those sorts of things. And we put that together, and we're successful for people. But there's absolutely money to be made without, back into your wallet anyway, without changing providers. You don't have to change providers. There's no need.
I know enough about your company and the history and the way you guys train your employees and how sharp your employees are. I think you guys are really amazing. It's really going to be fun to watch this. BillAdvisor.com. Lanny Hayes, my guest. They'll negotiate all your bills for 45 cents a day, $13 a month. And then you've got someone on your side who does it all the time. So, Lanny, are there many other people doing this? I mean, I know there's some people doing bits and pieces of it.
So there are some people doing bits and pieces of this, but we believe, in fact, we know because we've shopped anyone else who is a competitor. In fact, I would go so far as to say that I don't feel like we have a competitor in this because there's a certain human touch to what we do where we take the time with you one-on-one to walk through and do a needs assessment and understand exactly what it is you need, not, hey, send us a picture of your bill and, we'll just go shop it for you. There are other companies that do something kind of similar where, for example, if you had sent me your Dish bill, they would call Dish and pretend to be you. That's not okay with us. That's not an exceptional customer experience, and we believe
you don't
deeply
pretend
in
to
an
be
exceptional
us.
Customer experience.
The companies know who you are and what you're all about.
Absolutely. We full disclose. When I did the little mock talk a few minutes ago, that's similar to how a call would start. Hey, I'm Lanny with BillAdvisor. This is Steve. He's a mutual customer. Let's see what we can do here.
Is there a lot I guess there is some real negotiation on holding on to people, isn't there?
There is. Look, people, businesses, that's how they survive. When you hear their calls to, their quarterly earnings calls and things like that, they're going to talk about things like their subscriber acquisition cost. How much money did they have to spend to earn people? And businesses over time have become more savvy to say, hey, look, when I have a guy who's been with me for 10 years, I've long since paid that guy off. We need to reacquire him. And by reacquire him, I mean do what it takes to keep him. And that's what makes available some of these things out there. And it's not just as simple as a phone call saying, hey, I'm going to cancel. That might work some of the time, and you can do that as a person. But, again, when you know what to say, how to say, who to talk to, the right buttons to push, know when you're getting a good deal and when they're just giving you the, hey, Steve, take this $50, for the next 6 months and get on down the road, and you're tickled pink because you just, you earned dinner. So, you didn't have it when you walked in. But, there's often more to be out there, and that's, we put ourselves in the exact same position. There's often more out there, and we strive to get that for everybody we work with.
Sometimes when I have a bill and I figure out I've been paying too much, I feel kind of stupid and embarrassed.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, Steve.
Good. Yeah, you're not alone, man, because I'm just like, oh, I'm busy. I'm doing this. Oh, I paid that bill automatically. Do I go online? Do I look at it? Okay, so if somebody and everybody really should be interested, because if they use your service, if they don't want to do the subscription and they want to split savings, there's actually no risk. You guys only make money if the client makes money.
Absolutely.
So really the only and actually you said this, I think the only bad phone calls if you don't call. BillAdvisor.com. You're in Houston. I know your company. I know your history. I know the kind of people that you have there, and I think you guys are. Changing the world is too strong, but literally having a dramatic shift on helping people be more astute. You are the pioneer, the leader, and the place to go. So I'm signing up. And Lanny, I know they can. Well, there's a number at BillAdvisor.com. 855-821-4571, or they can just fill it out online. And then I'm going to talk about this for a long time. I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I'm sure the 4,000 people who've already signed up, 4,000 plus, are pretty darn excited.
They are. We've been very blessed to, first of all, have a great staff that we have working here at BillAdvisor who have gone out of their way to deliver an exceptional customer experience every time. I know I've said that phrase a few times, but that's in the mission of our company, and it's extremely important that we do that and people walk out with a smile on their face. When you go on to BillAdvisor.com, you'll see that we have reviews on there. None of the reviews that we have there or on Facebook or anywhere else are fake. We don't believe in that at all. Integrity is also one of the core values of our organization. Everyone on there is a customer who's actually used the service.
Yeah, I know you guys, and you're right. You're great integrity. You save people money. BillAdvisor.com. Hey, Lanny, good job. I mean, were you nervous?
Of course.
Okay, well, that's normal, but you did a great job. And then I want you to come back. So like in 3 or 4 weeks, call me back. Let's talk about it again, and it's just a great reminder. How about that?
That sounds great. And look, Steve, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I appreciate your listeners. You do a great job in the topics that you discuss on your show and providing value to people. And, we hope we can provide the same value for all of your listeners out there. And, again, we encourage you guys to call, as Steve said, or go to BillAdvisor.com, upload your bills, give us a chance to take care of you, and I guarantee you that we will.
Hey, you're the man. Have a great day.
Hey, Steve, take care.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so if you had a business and you could walk in every day and have someone like Lanny Hayes working with you, precise, enthusiastic, principled, focused, and to me, the number one thing about a successful business, if I'm going to work there, is I want to add real value to people. Hopefully I do that, and I tell you what, BillAdvisor.com does it too. So